the world's #1 podcasting platform for African stories. We are back. Hi, everyone. Hope you have been enjoying our lives so far. We have the last live starting now, and it's going to be on the importance of community in podcasting. We are ready to have a fun conversation with amazing people doing everything for community. So let me invite them now. Hello. Hi, Raffy.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm doing good.
Nice to meet you. I feel like I talk to you on email a lot, but I haven't actually met you or had a conversation. So really nice to meet you.
Yeah, we're in the world where we're all connected by internet, so that's interesting.
I know, it feels like you know someone and then you realize that you don't actually know them at all. You realize you don't know them at all. You just speak to them on email. So thank you so much for making the time to be here.
Thank you very much for having me as well.
Yeah, we're just waiting for WaLusungu to join us. You are here. Would you like to tell people a bit about who you are as we wait for him to join?
Oh, okay, cool. My name is Raffy Atakimande. Most people actually know me better as Queen Raffy. That is the name that I go by. I call it stage name, I don't know. But that's usually what I use. I am a podcast host and producer, and I'm also a voiceover artist in my own spare time, but I'm also the community manager for Naija Podhub, which is a community for Nigerian podcasters home and abroad.
Yay, that is really good. It's amazing the work you are doing on your podcast. Congratulations on your award. You just won.
Thank you very much.
And
I forget now. I should be saying award-winning podcaster, you know.
Like I'm an award-winning podcast host. My award-winning podcast, you know. That's exactly what you should be doing every time you're speaking.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you're also doing amazing work with the Naija Podhub as well, and we're very happy to be partners with you, and we love to see what it is you're doing. It's really fun to see that communities are forming on different parts of the continent. So, hold on, WaLusungu was trying to join, so I just want to let him into the live.
Great.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to have this conversation with you on community. I'm the community manager at AfriPods, and we've been having monthly meetups in different countries across the continent. And it's really nice to see when people are able to meet each other and be like, oh, I didn't know there's this many podcasts in my country, or things like that. So it's a really fun thing to be a part of, growing the community.
Yes, it's definitely fun. I think the meetups, we did one in Nigeria in the month of June, and it was really amazing. Like, we had fun meeting people, putting the faces to the voices that you hear, just being in the same space. It was super energetic, super emotional, and very interesting, I have to say.
Yeah, it's really fun when we get to meet as well, when podcasters just like, oh my goodness, I listened to your podcast. And because audio, I guess podcasting is very audio. It's just a lot of audio, so you don't necessarily always see the faces behind the people you're listening to. I think WaLusungu is having a problem joining. If he can keep trying, but we will get started on the conversation. So I wanted to ask you, because you work with Naija Podhub, what does community mean to you? What does that look like to you? How would you describe community or explain what it is to someone?
All right, that's cool. For me, community is sort of best described as a group of people who share a common interest or enjoy a certain type of activity, you know, coming together and just trying to achieve a common goal because there is something similar that they share in common, and there is something that they all have at the center of their minds to achieve or to become better at or to improve on. So for me, that's how I see community. So, you know, community can exist in all kinds of ways.
Right.
And the most important thing is that you have that one similar thing that you all want to achieve, improve on, work on, or get better at.
Cool. So how does that translate to you as now putting it into podcasting? What would you then describe as a podcasting community?
Now that's interesting, because when it comes to a community for podcasters, now I would say that a podcast community is like a group of podcasters who come together, support each other, encourage each other, teach each other, help one another in becoming better at the art of podcasting. And it's like a support group, like a safe haven for creatives to just come together and not feel alone in the whole chaos of content creation. Because I always say this, podcasting can feel like a very lonely journey, but when you have a community of people coming together, helping you, pushing you, giving you that support and everything, it can feel like a safe space where that even when I run out of creative juices, I can always go back to this place and don't always fill me up. So for me, that's what I see a podcast community as, and that's what we strive to get at what we do with Naija Podhub.
Oh, amazing. So would you like to tell us a bit about what you do at Naija Podhub? You said you had the event. It was, I think, your first live event, and I know you have virtual ones monthly.
Yes.
What does that look like, and how do you think it's building the community of Nigerian podcasters?
So at Naija Podhub, we do quite a number of things, and we have quite a number of different channels and activities available for podcasters in our community. So we have, for example, in terms of support, we have our WhatsApp and Telegram groups where podcasters are allowed to ask whatever question is on their mind at any time, and everybody on there is able to just provide answers. And even if nobody is able to provide answers, we all come together and channel our questions to like the right place and everything, and find answers for ourselves. Another thing that we do is that we have Twitter Spaces conversations and regular Clubhouse sessions. Those are primarily to sort of teach the community, on new concepts and ideas of how to improve their podcasting. And then we have our podcast review session that happens every month, and that is basically aimed at people who want to improve on their podcast but don't know exactly where to go. So we do that podcast review and help podcasters to get like unbiased review on the type of podcast that they do, in what areas they can improve on, how they can produce it better. And most importantly, we also sort of create a space where people can celebrate their own success stories, their challenges and their successes. Because when it comes to podcasting, sometimes your family don't get it. When you tell them, oh, I just got to 1,000 listens, they're like, oh, okay, what's that? Yeah. But when you're in a podcast community, we have like something we call a milestone Sunday in our groups, where everybody's allowed to share what is a win for them, and nothing is too small, nothing is too big, like it could be, guys, I just finally secured that guest this week, everybody celebrates with you, and it could be, oh my god, I just got up to 20,000 listens, oh fantastic. Or it could be, oh my god, I finally got the energy and motivation to record a new episode this week, like congratulations. So those are some different aspects in which we try to engage our community. We also have a monthly newsletter that we send out just to make sure that they are kept in the loop of all the good things that are happening in the podcasting space, not just in Nigeria, but also internationally, and also trying to create opportunities for podcasters to challenge themselves. Like we just had a challenge recently now for the power of storytelling, where we challenged our community to do a 15-minute monologue, and they get to win a certain cash prize. So basically, those are some areas that we try to make sure that we keep our community engaged, and just make sure that whoever is in our community is being serviced one way or the other. So if you're not benefiting from the podcast review, you're benefiting from the conversations in our WhatsApp and Telegram groups, or you're enjoying the Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces conversation, or basically you're just also here to share your wins and share your knowledge with other people that you know. So yeah, that's some ways that we engage our community in Naija Podhub.
That's amazing. So on your engagement, because you use a lot of WhatsApp, you've talked about the Clubhouse, you've talked about all these other things, having lives. How did you choose which platforms that you would have your communities on? Were you able to have conversations with them beforehand? Or how do you reach out to your community to let them know these are also the platforms you have? How do you determine that as a community?
So firstly, I have to say that Naija Podhub was sort of created, that was founded by Feifei. And for me,
Hold on, I think we lost Raffy, so we're gonna wait for her connection to come back. As soon as Raffy, are you there? I think her connection dropped, so we're gonna give her a few minutes to let her come back on to the live. Raffy, please let us know when you're available. I just sent you an invite again. Oh, so I see MJ Akosua has written in the, I hope I pronounced your name right. But you have asked what is important to community to me. For me as AfriPods, I think what is important is creating a space where African podcasters, what we've noticed is a lot of them don't know that there's a number of podcasters in their country. They don't know how to reach out to them. Raffy talked about it where they're trying to figure out like getting guests and things like that. So you don't know where it is that you can get those things. And what we're doing is creating a space, or why I think it's important is you create a space for the podcasters to get to know each other and grow the ecosystem in their countries, but it also allows us to know the people who are in the area. So if we speak to people in Zimbabwe, for example, and we're able to connect them to the ones in Zambia, we talk to the ones in Nigeria and connect them to those in Kenya, for example, and being able to build that is important, because I think when people understand the challenges and going through them and how to get better, then they're able to learn from those who've gone ahead. So earlier today, we were talking like to Joanne Melly, and we had Janet Bogwa, and Janet Bogwa is able to learn from what Joanne Melly has been doing in the space. But we have to create community in order for that to be possible, because a lot of times podcasters feel like it's very one-dimensional. It can be a very lonely medium, and a lot of times that's what the problem is. I'm trying to get the guests back on. Give me 2 seconds. They're about to join again. Angela, I see a question. How does AfriPods interact with community? So we have monthly meets in different countries. If you follow us on social media, you'll be able to see those. But we go to different countries and speak to the podcasters in those countries, because as AfriPods, it's important for us to grow also our technology around African podcasters, because we can't say we represent them if we're not building something that's specifically for them. So it allows us an opportunity to see what is important to them and build the tech around it, while also creating a space for them to interact with each other and learn from each other as well. Tony, what has been the most difficult or the most challenging aspect of managing the AfriPods community? What has been challenging is getting reach to the podcasters in different countries. So we have access, for example, to podcasters in Kenya. Myself personally, I have direct access to podcasters in Kenya. And because we don't know where the podcasters are, reaching out to them in their countries or trying to find them in their countries in order to create the community becomes a challenge. But we've been lucky to at least have 1 or 2 people we know in each country who can then reach out to their networks. So for example, if I was coming to Nigeria, I'm not there on the ground, but I can reach out to Tony, Queen Raffy, Bidemi of APBA, and they're able to then give me access to their community. I think the speakers are having an issue, so let me just stop the live and start it again, and hopefully they'll both be able to join then. So just keep it here and I will be right back. Let me try and get the speakers back on. Thank you for your patience. Technical difficulties, disadvantages of the internet and social media. We never know what will happen, but we will keep going. Raffy, if you're WaLusungu, you can join the Happy International Podcast Day to you, but Ventures Podcast. Thank you for joining us here today. We don't take it for granted spending your time here with us. Queen Raffy, if you're there, I'll ask you to join as well. WaLusungu, we've sent an invite. You can join from invite as well. Queen Raffy, I see you joined the live. I'll send you an invite as well. Thank you everyone for your patience. You're amazing. Hi, welcome back. I don't know what happened. Technical difficulties.
I have no idea. I just found myself stuck and I couldn't rejoin. Like, it was so terrible. I'm so sorry about that.
No, don't worry about it. We understand. Technology lets us down sometimes, so keep it moving, flow. WaLusungu, we see that you're trying to join. I've sent you an invite. You can check it. But you were telling us how you determined the platforms that you use to reach out to your community.
Yes, please. So basically, I was talking about the fact that I started off the WhatsApp group based off of wanting a place where I could connect with people. And from the WhatsApp group, that was when we started to think about expanding into other different spaces as different spaces began to come up. We used to have our usual virtual meetups on Zoom before, but then Clubhouse came on and it made it a lot easier to just have an app where you can talk to people, just like a super podcasting kind of situation. So we wanted to try out, Clubhouse, and then also our community started to, get bigger, and we know that the WhatsApp group of restricted to a certain number of people. So we needed to have like an extension of that on Telegram. So that's how another channel sort of opened up. And then recently Twitter Spaces also came out. And people were like, we want Twitter Spaces. We want, most times our community of drive where the channel will be used at a particular point in time. So we have a conversation about the majority kind of vote most of the time. And also as a team at Naija, we try to make sure that no channel is left without having something unique to it. So WhatsApp group has their unique activities that take place there. Our Twitter Spaces have unique activities that we do there. So whatever platform that you are on, regardless of where you join the community from, there's always something that you get to enjoy. And always make sure that we also talk about every other activity that is happening on all the other channels and put the link there so that if you want to join those other conversations, you can always join in. And even in our newsletter, we always include it. So if you missed anything on any channel, you can always go to those channels and get them for yourself.
Okay, yeah. I was just about to ask how you then combine all, but I guess that's where you get the newsletter from.
Yes.
So when you competition this for your celebration of International Podcast Day, you opened it up to a lot more. You opened it up to the continent, not just the Nigerian podcasters.
Yes.
What is it that made you choose to open it up to the rest of the creators across the continent?
Honestly, it was, did I say, when they say you asked and they answered kind of situation, a lot of people were like, nah, you can't just leave this, beautiful challenge up to Jerusalem. We want to get involved, and we decided, why not? Like, that's the beauty of podcasting. It connects us regardless of whatever continent that we are, regardless of whatever country that we are. So we want to jump into the challenge. Obviously, why not? And we also pride ourselves in Naija Podhub as being like the heartbeat of podcasting in Africa. And if we cannot open up our challenge to other people, how do we become the heartbeat? So we just decided, sure, anybody that wants to jump in can definitely jump in, and we got very interesting entries for the competition.
Amazing. Yeah, I've heard some of them, and I wanted to find out now, with you opening up your community, would you feel like, or you heard people from other communities on the continent being like, how can we be involved? How do we get to be a part of what it is you're doing? because you've chosen to do it in your country. So is there anyone trying to be a part of it outside of Nigeria, for example?
Yes, we do have quite a few podcasters who don't stay in Nigeria. We have a few podcasters who stay in Ghana. We have a few podcasters who stay in Zambia, who are part of our community, and we're very open to that, which is why whatever it is that we do, even when we have like a physical meetup in Nigeria, we try to have an actual side of that. So even if you can't be here in Nigeria, you still get to get yourself involved in the situation, you know? Like the meetup that we had recently for our 50th anniversary, we streamed that live on one of our partners platforms, so you get to be a part of the what is going on as well. We never leave anybody behind. Yes, it's a community for podcasters home and abroad, but the unique thing that connects everybody in that community is podcasting. So it doesn't matter whatever continent you are or whatever country that you're from, you're allowed to be able to join our community. And we always involve them in all the activities that we do as well, so they never feel left out. Because like I said, the one thing that connects every single one of us on the baseline is podcasting.
That is true. That is exactly what brings us all together. So, based on what you're doing, what would your advice as a community manager be to people who are trying to replicate what you're doing at Naija Podhub in their countries? So, if I'm in Kenya and I'm trying to create a community around podcasters, how would you guide me? What would be the steps you would suggest I take in order to create a space like that?
The very first thing I'll say is to remember that when you're creating a community, it's a very thankless job. Very thankless job, yes. So get ready to, go on this journey and do it because we want to create impact. My team leader, Faith, she always says that every single meeting, like everything that we do, try to create impact. If you want to replicate the community anywhere else for podcasters, I think one important thing that you must put in the back of your mind is the kind of impact you want to create. What kind of space do you want to achieve? Do you want a space where people are able to have like a safe haven, like I described, support and encourage to teach each other? So when you're able to streamline what your goal is for your community, I think that makes it easy for you to create what you want to create, right? Yeah. The goal. What is the goal for this community? For Naija Hub is always about making sure that Nigerian podcasters we impact in a way that when you listen to a Nigerian podcast, whatever it is that you listen to is quality enough. So we're teaching them, we're supporting them to be the best that they can be, creating the best podcast out of Nigeria. Wherever it is you want to replicate a podcast community, think of what you want the impact to be. What is it you want to achieve with this community? When you're able to nail that down, then you can move to the structures. And you can start small. Like I told you, we had, the WhatsApp group, we had the website for Naija Podhub, and then we made it together and decided to go from there based off of the needs of the community to other different channels. So once you start building that community as well, listen to them, take feedback from them. Always remember that it's a thankless job, but impact is what is important, And gradually people will come on board with that. And the good thing about creating a community is a ripple effect, right? You start off only you trying to give all of this, but when people see how much impact and how much you're creating in their lives, other people will join in. Now, the WhatsApp group, me or Faye or all the other people, my other team members, replying messages. We have people who have been in the community for years now, fielding the answers to new people who come on, So, yeah, so I know people who started off when we're in the group, didn't know how to create a podcast, didn't know how to edit and stuff like that. And now they're very good that other new podcasts come on and they are the ones teaching them the ropes. So you know what I'm saying? Like just pass on that baton of kindness, baton of support. And that's what you should always think about when you're thinking of a community. Be ready to work with a team, be ready to listen to community members themselves, because at some point the community grows beyond you and you have to recognize that and let other people in. That's what I was saying.
That is wonderful. That is very important. Understanding that the community could grow beyond you, that understanding that as you grow, the people in your community grow as well, and they become the people who are helping you in the community. So it doesn't become dependent on you necessarily, it takes its own life as well. So when you are creating the community, you sat down, Fefe, I see that you're in the audience. I wanted to find out, when you were starting, what is it that you felt, or the need that you felt was being fulfilled by creating the community for Nigerian podcasters?
Most importantly, support and the need to teach people to be better at what they do. You know, support because, like I said earlier, podcasting is a very lonely job. You feel like you're stuck into an empty space. When you're in a group of fellow podcasters where you can tell, I mean, for example, I learned how to edit off of the group where I create, you know, the WhatsApp. I learned it off that place. So when you have a community of people, they teach you to be better. When I was doing podcasting before the group, I thought I need to edit. Then I got in the group, got other podcasters together, and they were like, no, Raffy, you need to edit. You need to make your podcast better. So support, most importantly, to be able to support podcasters, and then teaching podcasters to be better, to be able to create better content. Because one thing that we believe at Naija Podhub is that everybody who is doing podcasts in Nigeria has the potential to be better. But most times they don't know how to go about it. So we have a community because we want people to know, first of all, that they possess that potential. They have support in terms of growing that potential. And most importantly, teaching them how to harness that potential and making it better for themselves. So that was like the core of why both the WhatsApp, the community, the podcast creators, and Naija Podhubs, that's like exactly why it exists. To support, to teach, most importantly, to let people realize that they can be so much more in podcasting if only we share the ropes.
Yeah, that is very true. It is very important. WaLusungu, welcome. I started struggling to join. I know technical difficulties. We had them in the beginning. Thank you for making the time to join us. I would like to throw that to you as well. I know you're representing the Zambian Podcasters Hub. So from your side, what was the need fulfilled for the Zambian podcasters when you were creating that?
When we decided to create the Zambian Podcasters Hub, I was actually speaking with the founder, who is Chulu Answer. And we were just having a conversation after we recorded a podcast episode, actually. And then we're just starting to talk about all the challenges that we've had, her and us, the village to them, so part of the team. And as we were talking about it, it just naturally came up that some of these things would be so much easier or would make sense if we just had a community. People who understood us, people who knew what it's like. Because I heard exactly what Raffy was saying. And it's true. Because at times when I tell my parents about me being a podcast and everything, I'm like, so why are you doing that? You know, like, what do you hope to gain? Is it going to give me money in the future? And then I get you, but you're not helping me. You're not giving me the help I need. So that's why we were like, people who understand what it's like, people who know what we're trying to do, who understand the journey of a podcaster, and those are the people who can actually help you grow and reach your potential.
It's amazing, and it is true. It's very important because sometimes, even for myself, when I'm like, this is what we're doing at AfriPods, and people are like, what does that mean? Like, okay, I need to find people who understand podcasting. So I totally understand what it is you're doing. So based on your unique position, working with podcasters in your countries, because you have direct access to them, unlike a lot of people in this space, what do you think is the thing podcasters want the most? And I know that sounds like a very big ask, but based on what you're seeing in Nigeria, what you're seeing in Zambia, what do you feel is the need podcasters have at the moment in your countries, in your various countries?
I think I was going to go first.
Thank you. Honestly, for the Zambian Hub, we actually know what exactly we want, because the first thing that we did when we created the community was to ask the members of the community what exactly they want, what is it they need. Because we realized that creating a community is not just about what the community manager wants, but it's about trying to have that connection between you as a community manager or the community managers and the people you're providing the community to. One thing that we noticed a number of Zambians did want was collaboration, networking, and generally just improving podcasting skills. And that's something that we as the Podcasters Hub have really been able to for the past couple of weeks.
Amazing.
Right. Because our own community has been around for a longer time. I'm sure we get there, brother. I would say that our own needs have sort of evolved over time. I mean, some of the things that you mentioned are things that new podcasters come in sort of need. They want the help, they want the support, they want the collaboration. They also want to learn how to be able to do some various skills and stuff like that. But we found that most of the older members who have been there over time. So that's like two different needs we have. The new podcasters coming wanting help, the support, the collaboration. We have the older podcasters coming in and wanting a way to be able to monetize and sponsorship and sort of know how best they can do that. Like what new ways can they sort of make a bit of, you know, money of their podcast, stuff like that. And most importantly, international recognition, opportunities as well, because most times opportunities and grants, you don't get open to like podcasters in Africa, for example. You know, so those podcasters come in wanting to look for, okay, guys, where can I get opportunities like this? Where can I get opportunities like that? So that's what we found out on the two different spectrum of podcasts that we have coming to our community. The new ones want the support, the collaboration, want the help. Older ones are looking more to monetize, advance, you know, things that they're doing, get international grants, be able to also further everything that you're doing with your podcast, and also maybe looking for other ways to promote the podcast as well. We have a lot of people coming in with that kind of need, saying, oh, you know what, I've been doing the podcast this way. Do you guys have a new way for me to be able to promote my podcast and be able to attract maybe the international recognition and also be able to get that sponsorship? So those are the kind of needs that we get from the different podcasters coming to our community.
Wonderful. So my last question to both of you is from my perspective as a community manager for reports, because my representation is not specific to a country. It's trying to get together all of the people in the different countries to come together and create a community on the continent, because we've realized that a lot of people, like in Nigeria, as you're saying, you've been there for longer, so the people in your community can help Podhub as well. You know, we can grow it, and there's communities in South Africa, there's some in Zimbabwe, we have some in Kenya. So trying to get them all together, because I believe we grow better when we're together. So what is good advice for me as the representative of AfriPods, trying to get everyone together? How do I reach out to podcasters, for example, in your communities? And how would you like us to combine, or what would you like to see in a combined community for the continent?
Okay. Honestly speaking, that I guess that the hard part is, as you said, reaching out to people, because it's not always easy to like get in touch with people. But one thing that I do believe is that if you are to find someone who's been podcasting for a while and you do reach out to them, they would be in a position where they're able to like reach out to other podcasters and other community. Because honestly, the Zambian Podcasters Hub community just started with one, more or less, where Chulu started the idea, she spoke to us, and then we just put things in place. We just put things out on Twitter, and we're like, hey guys, if you want to join the group chat, join the group chat. And it really grew from 3-4 people to about 50-60 people in less than a week. Right now we're at, thank you so much. We're actually at about 100 members right now, or at least 100 people. Yes, that group chat. And there's only 2 group chats, because we have another group chat for people who are just starting out or who haven't yet did a podcast. So I think reaching out to people, or someone who has just been podcasting for a while, they would definitely be in a position to help you out or be able to reach out to you. And I guess one thing that we need as podcasters is just that help, I guess, because you find that our scope is limited, because here has got very limited opportunities, and I'm guessing certain other countries have other limited opportunities. But you find that if we're able to take advantage of the stories from other people, from other nations, find that maybe there's a grant in South Africa, or there's a happening in Nigeria, there's a happening in Ghana. I think that collaboration just allow each of us to like grow, try something new. Let it be a competition, let it be awards, let it just be anything out there that will allow us to like grow our skill. I think just sharing information and giving us that platform to showcase our skill is gonna greatly improve our capabilities.
Amazing, thank you. Raffy?
Yes, along with everything that my brother said, I have to say that you guys are on the right track at AfriPods. I think conversations like this, for example, help people to realize, oh yeah, AfriPods wants to, get everyone together. I think that's a good start. And I think most importantly, like you said, finding people who you can use as a point of contact in those countries. Nigeria, use Naija. So, just find those people, because we have access to them and they are more likely to trust sources that they believe in. So, yeah, a lot of times, let's not even get into that. Podcasters have been scammed on all levels. So they would trust us that, this is coming from them, So I think that would be great. And most importantly, making use of social media, like just making sure that you put out that information on social media, let's say on like Twitter, because podcasters are always on those spaces trying to promote their podcast. So making use of social media, your Twitter, your Instagram, they're going to know also something is happening here, and you're always going to be involved. And most importantly, I look forward to it where we can have like a physical meeting somewhere. I think that would be amazing. That would be really amazing. Like my brother said, have workshops, have, like they have like the podcast movement, they have our do like physical meetup, Africa podcast day happen somewhere where we all come together. But I think you're on the right track. You're getting there, having conversations like this, using social media. And there is no day that I don't see something from AfriPods on my Twitter handle. So I think you're already on the right track. And if you continue on this page that we are on, we're definitely in no time going to have like a big Africa podcast community.
Yeah, that is very and as Melissa had mentioned in an earlier platform, she said that there's a podcast day, having something here. So Nairobi is happy to host you. If you want to come all, let's do it. Let's all have a podcast day together. For the last thing, I would like you each to speak about where we can find you, where we can find your communities, in case there's someone who's watching and wants to find out more. Let us know where they can find you.
Okay, great. Naija Podhub, we have a website. Our website is www.naijapodhub.com. All the information that you need is on there for all the groups that we have, for all the channels that we have our conversations on. Yes, thank you. Whoever does that in the comments, thank you. So yes, everything you need to have, you need to know about Naija Podhub is there. Our house sessions, they are available, they're going to be around, how to submit your articles for our website, if you have anything interesting in podcasting, every single thing you need to know about Naija Podhub is on that website. That is like your one-stop shop to the whole of Naija Podhub.
Amazing. And about your award-winning podcast, Raffy?
We are oh God. Thank you for never letting me forget. Yes, for my podcast, you can definitely type in Raffy Space everywhere that you listen to podcasts. I'm available everywhere, honestly. Once you type it on Google, you will find Raffy Space Podcast. It's a personal journal where I just put out stuff, but believe me, every episode is value in it. So check it out.
Wonderful. And for you, WaLusungu, tell us where we can find out more.
The Podhub, unfortunately, is just its budding stages. We don't have a website just yet. Don't worry, it's coming. But
definitely.
Yes, but now we're on Twitter, on Instagram at Podhub, and from there you can speak to us, and we'll be able to do a link to our group chat on WhatsApp, because this is where we primarily speak and organize everything that's going on. We're primarily working through WhatsApp, and you would be able to give you more information from there. But don't worry, the website is coming soon.
Wonderful, and it's not unfortunate. As long as you've started, we've been saying the whole day, once you've started, the only way to grow is up. We can only go up. So very good job. Do you have a personal podcast to push as well?
Oh yes, we do. Actually, it's what I'm wearing. It's up here. It's the Village Zedem. Yes. So yeah, it's the Village Zedem. So you can find us at the Village Zedem on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And we primarily speak about Zambian culture and politics, because we are all about building our community, or the Zambian community. So that's sort of our focus, and that's what we're trying to do. So if you're interested in that, or would be interested in that, please feel free to find us at ZM everywhere. We're also on most of the major podcast streaming platforms as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you both for joining. As you've heard, Naija Podhub, the Zambian Podhub, join them. Again, we want to thank Fisi for inviting us to use their space for the live. This is the last one that we're having on Instagram, but you can jump over to Twitter. We're going to be having a spaces at 3 p.m. on the African podcasting growth from the creators' perspective. And then at 7 p.m., this is on Eastern Time, GMT +3, we're going to have a space on the business behind podcasting. So please join us there. Thank you both for making to be here. It's wonderful what you are doing. Please keep it growing. And if we reach out to you as AfriPod to ask you to get the community in, please send them to us as well. We want the ecosystem to grow. So anything we can do, if you need help with anything that you think we can do as well, if you have any questions, any way for us to improve our platform, please reach out to us. You can find us at AfriPod on all social media platforms. Thank you both so much for your time. Thank you everyone for listening. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much for having me.